Seahawks were in action last night. It's weird when the Seahawks are kind of an afterthought, at least for me. Yeah. I'm sure they were in the front of it. A lot of other people's mind are going, I don't care about the Mariners. But Seahawks won a game, and I told you this before the show, Dave. I watched it, but I don't know how much I took it in. I was in a bit of a daze as I was watching that game. But what stood out to me is this was not a particularly clean game. They turned the ball over 4 times. Yeah. They were horrible on third down conversion. They were 2 for 14 on third down conversion, yet it felt like they were kind of in control of this game. I mean, it just seemed like they had it handled, and none of them felt like dire turnovers or like, oh, my God, they're about to – it never felt like the game was in jeopardy. And to me, that's what's impressive is when a team doesn't have their A stuff or a pitcher doesn't have his A stuff or somebody's just – it's not there. It's not clicking. Things aren't lining up, but you grind. You find a way to win. That's what good teams, what good players do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And you look at some of the numbers, they were not overwhelmingly impressive. Like, I thought the most impressive and most important number from the entire game was the run-to-pass ratio. I think it was 33 runs and 32 passes, or the other way around.
They've been really close on that. It feels like almost every game.
Well, and to your point there, they were number 6.
Yeah, 32 pass, 33 rushing attempts.
Yeah, and they were number 6 in attempts going into that game last night. So, if you look at their average and how much they're running the ball, it's bottom half. It's not great. It's not there yet, but they're trying. And our buddy Mark Schlereth always tells us that in order to get the play action going, it's not like you have to have like a great running game, but you need to force the issue on it. And that's kind of what they're doing. They're kind of in a slog right now, getting through it with the run game, because they ran for 118 yards last night, and they just kept chipping away at it, man. It was like 3 yards, 4 yards. I mean, it was just. Yeah, like I said, it was kind of a slog. And then, Charbonnet and K9 both kind of came out pretty close. I mean, K9 had 66 yards, Charbonnet 49. But that was the part that I really liked, that I thought went smoothly. I mean, some of those you're running into a wall pretty much. But I like that they got that back, and I can't wait to get Robbie Oots back out there. Yeah, I just feel like
he'll be ready to come off the list for this next game, right?
I believe so. Yeah, because he's got the bye week to go with that. So, and you had Brady Russell out there, and he's good player, but I don't think he's quite what Oots is. And I think they're going to start to get that going in the second half. But that part of it, I think, stood out. You're right. It was kind of another thing that stood out to me is that JSN is elite. And I think, his numbers obviously say that, but it's just so interesting. Like, I thought the most interesting thing that he did was dunk the football over the goalpost, because that is 10 feet in the air, and he didn't even, load up and jump. He just kind of popped off of his feet. I mean,
he's 6 feet tall.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, it didn't. It looked like he just, if we were here trying to touch the top of the door frame or something, like it's right there for him. Yeah. Like it was effortless. And he's quietly elite. You and I were talking about that before the show as well. Like, he doesn't get talked about in those circles, but you look at it, he leads the league in receiving yards by a good margin. He's got 819 receiving yards so far through 7 games. Yeah. You got 10 games to go. So, I mean, he's set for a huge season. But, that play you're talking about, that was pretty cool. And that was Darnold. We'll get into his game in a moment, but this was a good moment here.
1st and 10 inside the 15. Looks, throws, fires to the end zone. Ball is caught. Touchdown! Seahawks! Dunking it over the bar is Jackson Smith and Jigba. And flags go down because you can't do that as he grabbed the bar, and that can make the whole goalpost wiggle and get out of alignment. But the touchdown stands. The 4th touchdown of the year for JSN from 11 yards out.
I like the explanation as to why you can't do that.
Yeah, it makes it wiggle.
Knock it out of alignment.
Well, it was moving a lot, really. I mean, those things are a little bit more fragile than I think people think. But, it was that was another one of those throws by Sam where it's just like a window that's open for just a split second.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that there was I can't remember if it was the last game against, or maybe it was Tampa, where he threw a similar ball, and it's like I said, a closing window that just he finds a way to thread that ball through there. And then JSN, I mean, he just has excellent hands. I mean, but you know what the thing is funny about it? You don't see him like making a one-handed catch, or, you know, he's not like gonna run over anyone. I mean, it's just hard to explain. But you have to say that he is an elite receiver, and even though he doesn't have like the body type or anything like that, he just always gets open, always makes the catch.
Yeah, and he's Sam Darnold talking about him after the game, and whether he's surprised about the season that JSN is having at this point.
It's not surprising because I see him come into work every day with the same mindset and the consistency. And it's not just him, it's our entire receiver group, it's our entire group as an offense. And, you know, we're going to keep getting better and learning from our mistakes in these games when we have that attitude. And so, you know, we're just going to, like I always say, we're going to continue to grow and get better.
Yeah, and then just one more on JSN. This comes from Cooper Kupp, explaining what, in his opinion, has made JSN so good this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job. I mean, you've seen his ability to kind of move around in the offense. He's done a great job being able to, you know, make guys pay across the field, wherever it is. He's been able to come alive in all three phases of the pass game. So that's been really cool to see, and it is. I mean, you kind of you slot him, no pun intended, into a certain slot, you know. But he's you know, he can do he can play across the board, and he's shown that, and yeah, and he's going to continue to do that.
Yeah, he's got at least 100 yards in 5 of the 7 games so far this year. And then one of those games, I think he had like 96. Like, he was right about 100.
Yeah.
Leads the NFL, 819 yards receiving. I feel like he needs to be in that conversation now when you're talking about Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or just the elite receivers. He's not saying he's as fast. He's certainly not as big. No. But if we're just talking about who they are and their production, at least this year, I mean, he's been good since he's been in the league, but he's just taken that next step with the absence of Tyler Lockett and the absence of DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
That was the question. I was like, can he be a number one? Well, that's a resounding yes.
Absolutely. And I think everybody looks at him like a slot receiver, and he can do pretty much anything. You know, the other thing we're finding out about him, he's a bit of a dog, right?
Yeah.
Like, now, I'm sure that Mike McDonald's going to have a discussion with him, because that's 2 weeks in a row where, you know, you had a penalty. He had the one in Jacksonville that, you know, set him back. And then, you know, he had the dunk thing. And then, you know, there was something going on the sidelines. And by the way, I wanted to call this guy out. I thought it was the side judge, but it was the field judge, Nathan Jones, because I saw on the broadcast they were talking about the same thing, that when JSN made the tackle on the interception, I think it was Stingley, his helmet came off, and then all of a sudden you see all these, you know, Texans over there. It's on the sidelines. He ended up like sitting on the bench. But Nathan Jones, who was the field judge, came over and like put his arms around him, like
shielding
protecting him. Yeah. I thought that was really a cool move by him. And they were talking about it when I watched the replay. They were talking. Who was on the call? Was it Dan?
Chris Fowler and. Yeah, Dan Orlovsky. The sandwich guy.
Yeah. He was talking about that as well. I thought that was really cool. But, I mean, you know, you saw JSN kind of, you know, okay, I'm not going to get in trouble. Like, he gets caught up, I think, in the moment a little bit, but you saw him there in that case where he didn't, like, start throwing haymakers or anything like that, because his helmet came off and everybody was talking noise around him and everything. So, but, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I'm not the only one that is like, what makes him so great?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you look at, he's not DK, you know, he's not, but what he is he's a guy that constantly gets open. I think he's a bigger version of Doug Baldwin.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Moyer and I used to sit next to each other in the years I did pre and post game and watching the game together. And, you know, we'd always look at each other and go, Baldwin's always open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Throw it to Baldwin. He's always open.
Yep.
That's becoming JSN, man. And, yeah, he runs great routes, and you can see the trust between Sam Darnold and him.
By the way, I thought the pass of the game it was one of the best passes I've seen Darnold throw. I've seen anybody throw in a while. It was down the left sideline, and there was a safety over the top, and Kamari Lassiter was right on JSN, and he leaps at the last second, and I think the ball might have caught his fingertip, but if it didn't, it barely missed it, and just right in stride.
On our sideline?
Yeah, right in stride, right in the basket. Perfect. He gets his feet down, goes out of bounds. I was like, oh, my God, what a throw, what a catch. And Lassiter was in the right spot.
Yeah.
It wasn't
How do you defend it?
And he dropped it in between the two. It was a beautiful play.
Well, that's
beautiful
the other thing. I'll compare him also to Tyler Lockett. His feet are always in.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing about with Lockett. You always knew that he was going to get his toes down. And anytime you see, oh, man, did he get his feet? Always does.
Taking a look at last night, we were talking about how it was kind of a weird game in that, you know, especially on offense. I mean, there were 4 turnovers. We did have a moment where Darnold reverted back to the Darnold of last year in that moment that we heard Paul Allen losing his mind. He's just holding on to the ball. Throw the ball, man. There was the Steve Rabel moment where he was, and it
we'll get there, yeah. At 4:45, we'll hear the comparisons.
Yeah. So you saw a couple moments like that. Saw a couple beautiful passes, the one we were just talking about. But it was uneven offensively, even though they looked like they were in control. But this defense is what we thought it would be, Dave. This is we talked about who they were the second half of last season, top 5 defense, and the expectation, which I thought was fair, considering you didn't have any major turnover on that side of the ball. You had a couple pieces added for the most part, same scheme, same coaches, same everything. So the perception or the expectation, I should say, was they hit the ground running. They should be that defense from game 1 on, and they have. They're unreal against the run. Yeah. Nobody's running on these guys, and you just saw them the ability to get to the quarterback, their defensive line, and seeing what they were able to do out there in terms of just really really eliminating any hope from what the Texans were doing. And
it's the best D line there is in the entire NFL. I mean, in the depth and everything.
What was your take on this play, though? This is the Uchenna Nwosu 18-yard sack. The safety was there, and then it was overturned.
Leonard Williams was the other guy that was there at the same time. Stroud out of the shotgun. A trip set to his left. Drops back, looks, scrambles, being chased. He goes down in the end zone. It is going to be a safety. The Seahawks chase C.J. Stroud halfway to Tacoma, and they bring him down in the end zone for a safety. The celebration's already. The Seahawks lead 2-0.
I love Rabel's calls. I really do.
Chasing him halfway to Tacoma.
I'm over here laughing. Yeah. He.
Is that the right call? They were saying on TV it's where he's contacted, which was he wasn't in the end zone when he was initially hit.
His momentum had stopped, apparently. I mean, it's a safety, dude. Come on. That was a safety. The ball was in the end zone. The knee went down in the end zone. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I mean, just a relentless pass rush from Nwosu is fascinating to me just because he's not – it's kind of a JSN type, right? Like, he's not this massive human being. Like, if you look at Derek Hall, you go, oh, my, that guy's powerful, and he's a big dude. And Nwosu is not – he's not small by any means, but – yeah, he just is, and he just gets it done, man. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of Cortez Kennedy. I always said about him, he just goes wherever he wants to go. Like, you're not going to block him. Yeah. And Nwosu has kind of got that quality, man. And so, yeah, I mean, you look at their entire D-line, the one guy that was just wearing their offensive linemen out was Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy is he is incredibly hard to block. We talked to Jaron Reed on the huddle last week, and remember Jay Reed during camp was saying he's strong as bleep, and he's this as bleep, and he's this and that and the other. He was just going on, and he told us the other day on the huddle, he's like, I've been talking about this guy for over a year because he's really good. And when you get that from one of your peers, I mean, it's a great endorsement, but also I'm happy to see Byron Murphy start to get rewarded with sacks because, a lot of times you just it's a thankless job, but he's getting it done, almost on every single play you see Byron Murphy having an effect.
Yeah, and another guy who's had an effect, it feels like since the day he stepped on the field in a Seahawks uniform, has been Ernest Jones.
Stroud steps up in the pocket, throws over the middle. It's intercepted. Falling down on the ground, getting up. It's Jones, comes near side. 40, 35, 30. Has a convoy. Knocked out of bounds near sidelines. Holy catfish, what an interception.
He got a holy catfish there. That'll make them happy.
Yeah. I was telling you, A.J. Barner asked if he got a holy catfish the other day. But, Ernest Jones was looked like he was on his knee, and he kind of popped up off the ground.
It was a great grab, man.
Oh, my gosh. He's got really good soft hands. You know, that one that he had against, I think it was San Francisco, where it was like he was leaping in the air and caught it on his fingertips. So, yeah, Ernest Jones has just been all over the place. And you know what? Looks like he's got a new running mate next to him. Drake Thomas has looked really good.
He did look good.
Yeah, he was great on coverage, and I saw a couple of times he was a wrecking ball, and he was taking on blockers, and yeah. So, but yeah, it was kind of a sloppy game, but the defense has just come to be, what we're expecting. We have high standards for this defense now, and they're just getting it done. I mean, that was a really good offense that Jacksonville had going at that time. I know that they got dismantled by the Rams, but they took that entire offense apart. I mean, they've just been.
And they did it again here. They allowed 254 total yards, and you allowed 56 rushing yards.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's got to
unreal.
be number one.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's very impressive.